a silent, invisible battle between the part of you that was programmed for mediocrity, ... and the part of you that was born for greatness. And make no mistake, the battlefield isn't the world out there. It's not your competition, not the economy, not your circumstances, and definitely not the opinions of others. The true war is in your thinking, because until your mind is forged into the mindset of the elite, you will always sabotage the life you are destined for. The wealthy don't think like the masses. They don't operate on the same frequency as average men. They are sculptors of thought, masters of vision, engineers of destiny. And while the world sleeps under the illusion of limits, they rise early, not just to work, but to think. They think deliberately. They think courageously. They think in terms of creation, not survival. So the question is not, how much money do they have? The real question is, what must they believe to live as they do? You want to change your life, then change your philosophy. Because wealth is not a bank balance. It is a mindset, encoded into the daily thoughts, beliefs, and decisions of those who refuse to live by default. Look around you. The world you see was built by people no smarter than you. Edison lit the dark because he refused to stop thinking. Carnegie built an empire because he rewired his mind for abundance. Disney animated imagination itself because he thought it was possible. They weren't lucky. They were focused. They were obsessive. They were prepared to burn the boats. And it all started in their thoughts. The poor man asks, what if it doesn't work? The elite ask, what must I become for it to work? This is the difference. The fork in the road. One leads to a loop of excuses. The other leads to transformation. Now listen closely. This is where the shift begins. Your mindset is the master key every day. You are handed a master key. A key that can either lock you inside the prison of your limitations or unlock the gates to freedom, wealth, and impact. That key is your mindset, and most people use it unconsciously. They default to fear, to hesitation, to doubt, not because they are weak, but because they were never taught to think like winners. They inherited a script from broken parents, from tired teachers, from media soaked in scarcity, and they followed it without ever asking, who wrote this? And do I believe it? But the wealthy, the elite, they rewrite the script. They take the pen back. They flip the page, and they begin again, this time on their terms. Because they understand one fundamental truth. The world doesn't reward effort, it rewards results. And results come from decisions. And decisions come from mindset. You don't need more motivation. You need a new operating system. Burn this into your soul. Your mind is either a garden or a graveyard. What you plant, you will grow. What you allow, you will become. You cannot think scarcity and expect prosperity. You cannot worship comfort and expect dominance. You cannot seek approval and expect leadership. This is where the elite separate from the average dot. They train their minds daily like warriors, like visionaries, like gods walking among mortals. The power of belief. Your mental blueprint, Henry Ford once said. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Not because it's poetic, but because it's law. Belief is the original architect of reality. Everything, every company, invention, movement, and fortune began as a belief. A whisper in the mind of someone foolish enough to think they could change the world. But belief is not wishful thinking. It's not passive. It is earned through discipline, through repetition, through exposure to truth. The elite don't wait to believe in themselves. They build belief in themselves. They create rituals. They rehearse success. They anchor into a vision so clear, so compelling, that doubt becomes irrelevant. Understand this. Your subconscious mind cannot resist repetition. It doesn't care if a belief is empowering or destructive. It simply obeys what you feed it. So when you keep saying, I'm not ready, or I don't have what it takes, or people like me don't win. Your subconscious takes it as a command. But the elite, they speak a different language. They say, I am the one. I will figure it out. This is already mine. And over time, their belief becomes reality. Your internal dialogue is not harmless. It is prophecy. What you say to yourself is the software that writes your destiny. So ask yourself this. If your thoughts were made into a movie, would it be worth watching? Or would it be a horror show of self-doubt, procrastination, and excuses? Because the wealthy write thrillers. They write epics. They write legends not because they're better, but because they've learned to think on purpose. Clarity is a weapon, and most never use it most. People drift through life like leaves in the wind, reacting, adjusting, waiting. But the elite, they aim dot. They have clarity, so sharp it cuts through distractions like a blade. They know exactly who they are, what they want, and why it matters. They don't chase trends, they set them. They don't follow momentum, they create. Clarity is a force multiplier. When you know what you want, the universe rearranges itself to help you get it. But vague goals create vague results. I want to be successful is not clarity. I want to create a business that earns $100,000 a month by helping people get healthy. That's clarity. And with clarity comes energy, certainty, direction. That's why the wealthy don't wake up wondering what to do. They decide, act, adjust, and dominate. You want to win like the elite. Then stop asking for permission. To be clear, own your vision like it already exists. Speak it, write it, breathe it. Because the world does not move for the hesitant. It moves for the relentless. Vision. The elites inner compass the wealthy. Don't just work harder. They work from vision. Vision is the elite's secret weapon. It is the internal movie that plays in their mind before the world sees it. Walt Disney walked through an empty swamp in Florida and saw a kingdom of joy. Elon Musk stared at a blank spreadsheet and saw interplanetary travel. Oprah stood on a local news set and saw global impact. Vision is not fantasy. It is reality in seed form. But most people treat it like fiction. They say, I'll believe it when I see it. The elite say, I'll see it because I believe it. You see, the mind is a projector, not a camera. It doesn't just record reality, it creates it. If you keep replaying failure, lack, and defeat, you'll manifest that again and again. But if you dare to cast a vision of greatness and keep it alive, the world has no choice but to respond. Vision pulls you. Vision stretches you. Vision transforms you. But it only works if you treat it like oxygen. Not an option, but a necessity. So create your vision. Not a small one. Not a safe one. A vision that scares you. That humbles you. That demands a new version of you. Because when your vision is big enough, your excuses become irrelevant. Purpose. Fuel for the fire. The elite are not moved by money alone. They are moved by purpose. Purpose is the reason behind the reason. It's what keeps them up at night. It's what gets them out of bed before the sun. It's what turns pressure into power. If your why is weak, your effort will be too. But when your purpose burns like fire in your gut, you stop negotiating with average. Carnegie didn't just want to be rich, he wanted to prove that steel could rebuild a nation. Jobs didn't just want to sell gadgets, he wanted to revolutionize how we connect. Mandela didn't just want to be free, he wanted his people free, too. That's the difference. Purpose turns pain into fuel. Purpose makes sacrifice worth it. Purpose makes the struggle sacred, and without it, you will fall for every distraction, every shiny object, every shortcut. But the elite, they walk through the fire with their eyes fixed forward because their purpose is stronger than their fear.